Just want to make sure the connection is right. Let's get it. Let's go. If you never listened to the live podcast, then you don't know about this. So make sure you check out the podcast. The audio podcast, that is, not the live podcast. But this is the intro music. I just got a copy of the instrumental. I'm about to start spitting bars. Let me know in the comments if y'all want bars. Yo. Listen. This is an exciting time. You see, we got a different look over here. Man, I'm excited about tonight's show. So I want to just kind of do some housekeeping. So we have some people who have commented and been like, yo, how come every time I pull up to this channel, I feel like I'm seeing the same videos? Like, didn't you just drop this video? So let me just break it down for you. At the top of the week on Sunday night, like, that's my time to record, right? That's my time to, like, my family's like, all right, Dad, go do your thing. My wife is like, all right, husband, go do your thing. Go do your creative thing, right? And I come down and I record our weekly episode. From that weekly episode, what we've been doing this season is chopping up the segments and releasing them as standalone videos, right? So taking the nuggets from each episode, for example, our buy low section, we'll post that as a video. Our sell high section, we'll post that as a video. Our waiver wire section, we'll post that in a video. And even if I see that there's like maybe a take or something, I think we did a take recently on like LaMelo, for example, I might bring that out and create a shorter video. And then in the playlist section, you'll see that we have like the full episodes, and then we also have the bite-sized episodes. So it's really just to create digestible content for people, you know what I'm saying? So I know that, you know, people are out here with limited time. So I want to make sure that we create content that could serve people who have limited time, but also create this long form video so that way you guys could get the entire menu. So let me take these headphones off for 1 second. I just want to take a look here and see how many of my people we got in here. Great. This is good. So big shout out to Arcaz. Big shout out to Johnny P. Big shout out to Dino. Big shout out to Trimus. Big shout out to LJE. Big shout out to Mario. Big shout out to Legend. So for everybody dropping comments and questions, keep dropping the questions, right? Keep dropping the questions. At the end of the live stream, I'm going to go through and answer the question. So if you drop your question and you want your question answered, you could do a super chat. That's great. But I'm going to do my best to answer every single question. But if you leave the room, like, I'm not going to really try to prioritize a question if you leave the room. So please stick around and I'm going to make sure I get to those questions. So in a minute, I'm going to actually go into the meat and potatoes of the episode and I'm going to break it down for you. So let's just go ahead and jump that off. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. So I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to bring you into this restaurant, right? My fantasy basketball restaurant. And I want you to take a look at the menu. So I don't typically do this. I kind of just go through the motions and like share with you, here's the waiver wire, here's the buy low, here's the sell high. Like we're going to do all of that. But before I do that, I want to welcome you to Chez Robin Marks, my fantasy basketball restaurant. And I'm going to give you the menu. So what we're going to do today on the menu, we're going to start with the actual schedule. We're going to go through what the schedule looks like for week 8 of the fantasy basketball season. Then we're going to take a look at the top 5 waiver wire targets you need to focus on. Then something new that we haven't done, but we got a request on one of our videos. We had someone ask for deep league waiver wire targets. So we're going to do a new segment, which is the top 5 waiver wire targets for deeper leagues. We're going to do our buy low segment, our sell high segment. Then we're going to do our world famous Discord mailbag segment where we're going to answer questions from our Discord community. And we're also going to do a segment that we just tried out last week, and we're going to do it again, which is the Reddit thread of the week. You do not want to miss that. And last but not least, we're going to answer some questions from the folks who showed up to the live stream. So it's going to be an action-packed show. I'm super excited to get it kicked off. So let's go ahead and just start off by thanking our sponsors. This episode is presented to you by BetOnline. Yes, yes, yes. The world famous BetOnline. The holiday season is off and rolling with NFL in full stride and the NBA and NHL hitting mid-season form. BetOnline is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info with up-to-the-minute sports wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. BetOnline is the top spot for everything pro and amateur sports. And not just the big four. BetOnline has info available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time for almost any sport that is played, from MMA to international soccer. Head to BetOnline today and remember, use our promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. So, now that we got through that, I want to make sure you have like a vision of it. Your vantage point is super, super tight, and you have a vision of what the landscape looks like for week 8 in the fantasy basketball realm, right? So we're going to start by really digging into our schedule. So let's jump in to the week 8 schedule. So here we go. First things first, we're going to go through how many games are going down on each day of the week. And I know my man Anthony Edwards is injured, which breaks my heart. But man, this picture of him, for my folks who are listening on the podcast, this picture of him is gully. Big shout out Anthony Edwards. So on Monday, we have 13 games. On Tuesday, we have 5 games. On Wednesday, we have 9 games. On Thursday, we have 7 games. On Friday, we have 8 games. Saturday, we have 10 games. And on Sunday, we have 5 games. And for people who are new to fantasy basketball, one of the most important things to know is which day will I be able to stream players? Excuse me. Had a little burp there. Which days will I be able to stream players? I know what you're thinking to yourself. You're thinking to yourself, hey, Robin, like, what's streaming? Like, what is a stream? Like, you talking about a small body of water that flows in one way? Like, what is a stream? That's where the bears get salmon. What is a stream? We have a whole video about streaming. I would likely maybe put a card up here. Are there cards here, right? Put a card up there you can click on the replay to see. But basically what streaming is you cycling players in to a roster spot. So the worst, maybe 2 players on your team, what you want to do is reserve those spots for streaming players in and out. So that way you could maximize the roster spot and eventually beat your opponent. So that's why this is so important, to know what days can you actually stream. So for example, on the Monday here, there's 13 games. You cannot really stream when there's 13 games. It's just like you're going to have players on your bench that you're not actually going to be able to start in most leagues, right? Based on your settings. Tuesday is a streamable day. Wednesday, you're on the border. Maybe 10 games might be the cutoff point, but you might be able to stream depending on what your roster looks like. Thursday, you should be able to stream. Friday, you should be able to stream. Saturday might be tough, but on Sunday, because there is a low volume, number of games there, you may be able to stream. So that's something that I wanted to break down for you just to make sure you knew. For my experienced players, it's all good. Remember, we are here welcoming all fantasy basketball players, no matter what platform, what format, or what level of experience they have. So let's move along. Next up, let's talk about which teams have, the most games, right? So the 4-game teams who have 4 games for week 8, we got Atlanta, Brooklyn, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, Detroit, Golden State, Houston, Indiana Pacers, the Clippers, Heat, Bucks, New Orleans Pelicans, New York Knicks, Philadelphia 76ers, Phoenix, Portland, Sacramento Kings, Spurs, Jazz, and the Wizards. Teams that have 3 games, the Lakers, Memphis, Minnesota, OKC, Orlando, and Toronto. Now let's talk about those teams that have back-to-backs. So we got a few back-to-backs. We got the Monday and Tuesday back-to-back. We got Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Clippers, Sacramento. Then we have the Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. We got the Lakers, the Suns. Wednesday and Thursday, we got Brooklyn, Miami, Utah. The Thursday and Friday back-to-back, the only team that has that back-to-back is the Boston Celtics. So you really want to pay attention to them this week. Friday and Saturday back-to-back, we got Atlanta, Charlotte, Detroit, Indiana, the New York Knicks, bing bong, Philly. And then for the Saturday and Sunday back-to-back, we got Golden State, Milwaukee, Portland. And then what we have is what we call a pseudo back-to-back. That's a term that I first heard from Josh Lloyd from the Locked On Fantasy Basketball podcast. Basically, what a pseudo back-to-back is, you're getting guys who are playing on streamable days, low-volume days, right? Guys who are playing on streamable days on back-to-backs that are not necessarily consecutive days. So, for example, here we have the Friday and Sunday back-to-back. Saturday, as you can remember, let me go back a little bit. Saturday is not a streamable day, right? So you got 10 games. Chances are that you won't be able to stream any players from the waiver wire. So when we talk about a pseudo back-to-back, we're talking about a team that has 2 games that are kind of bookending a non-streamable day. Please let me know in the comments if that makes sense to you. And if you need me to unpack that further, if you're new to fantasy basketball, I can do that for you. If you need quick responses, we have an entire community of almost 2,500 fantasy basketball fanatics in our Discord. If you want to join, all you have to do is visit BelieveInFantasy.com. That's BLEAV, BelieveInFantasy.com. So on Friday and Sunday, we have a pseudo back-to-back with Boston, Houston, the Pelicans, the Magic, the Suns, the Spurs, and the Washington Wizards. Now, let's talk about the best schedules. So this is something that's coming up all the time. Like, which teams have the most streamable assets, and how can I take advantage of it, right? So the 2 teams that I believe have the best schedules are the Boston Celtics and the Phoenix Suns. They both have 4 quality, streamable games. Streamable quality. Let that sink in, okay? The other teams that I believe have great schedules are the Warriors, the Rockets, the Pels, the Spurs, the Wizards. Threw up in my mouth a little bit. Hold up. Let me get something to drink. Oh, my God. I said the Wizards. I left the kids at the pool. I'm sorry. Let me be more mature. My apologies. So, I got the Spurs, Wizards, and the Lakers with 3 quality games. So that's what you really want to pay attention to. Sorry about that. I had an alarm go off on me. Jeez Louise. And I set alarms, man. I'll be out here. It's real life for me, man. It's real life for me. So that's what we got for your schedule. Make sure you take screenshots of these joints. Do what you got to do just to make sure, because at the end of the day, like, we coming off of a crazy week from week 7. You might have just gave up a loss because you couldn't do anything. I don't know what your personal situation is, but just know that over here, we are all about those chips. All about those chips. And I'm not talking nacho cheese. I'm not talking Tostitos, Fritos, Bonton chips. I'm talking fantasy basketball championships. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're talking championships, you speaking my language. And let's talk really quick while we on it about championships. We got so many new people in our community, people who have never played fantasy basketball, people who are coming from fantasy football. If that's you, let me know in the comments. If you are coming from fantasy football, drop a football emoji in the comments for me right now. Because I'm out here, and like, one thing about me is I don't want no beef. I don't want no beef. I don't want no drama. Like, I'm all peace and love, right? But man, I be seeing some crazy shish kebabs, like some crazy shih tzu puppies out in these fantasy streets. People saying crazy stuff, man. Listen, I don't give a shih tzu puppy about how many leagues you are in. You don't impress me. What impresses me is opening the doors and creating a welcoming environment for people who are interested in the game that we love. And that's what this is about. So if you are one of those players, snooty patootie players, who's like, oh my God, like, I'm in 17 leagues and I've invested over $19 million of capital in these investments. Like, come on, bro. Like, we out here playing fantasy. Chill. So let's not, like, make people feel like they're not welcomed because we're more advanced. It's not good. On a human level, it's not good. So get off that. And also, stop throwing shade on injured players. Like, I'm trying to be quiet about the stuff that I see. I'm trying to be cool. I'm not trying to, like, make it a soapbox because I'm just here to provide value. But some stuff I see, like, and another thing, like, and this is the last thing, and we're going to get back to the script because I know I had a whole menu for you guys. And I'm, like, taking a little bit of a detour, right? Another thing as a fantasy community that I just want us to be conscious of. Just be conscious of. Like, I'm not trying to, like, throw no shade at nobody or nothing. I'm just bringing it to everyone's attention, specifically the people who are new to fantasy, young people. We have, like, teenagers and preteens playing. Middle schoolers are playing fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Young adults, people who are just going to college, playing fantasy. Young men and women are playing fantasy. With that said, when we refer to players, we have to be sensitive around the term owner. Take it how you want to take it. If you like, listen, if you do that, I'm not even mad at you. I'm just trying to help you to understand, especially as a person of color, right? Like, just to be conscious of how we're presenting certain terms in this space. There was a controversy a few years ago around ESPN. They did a really bad ad, and I think the ad for fantasy football, they had people at an auction bidding on players with, like, those little, those little flags or whatever that people use at auctions, and people were bidding on OBJ with, like, top hats and all of that stuff. It was just some really weird, stuff. And in this era that we're in, I know that it's real in terms of being politically correct. I'm just talking as a passionate, contributor to this culture of fantasy sports, that let's just be easy on how we throw around the term. Because at the end of the day, whether it offends you or not is not as important as if it offends someone else. And I'll leave it at that. So, moving right along. Let's get back to the schedule because you know I created a whole menu for y'all. Man, I'm out here creating menus in this episode. So what's next on the menu? What is next on the menu? Oh, here we go. Let me drop some music so we can kind of get a little transition piece going on in here. Let me get a little transition piece on here. I got this joint for y'all. Let me get my headphones right. I don't want to be out here throwing music out. I don't got no headphones on. Oh, that's the same one. Yeah. We're about to transition, y'all. We're about to transition into this next segment. Yeah, you ready for me? Yo, turn me up in the headphones, God. Yo, that's my word. Yo, that's my word. Yo, we out here. Brooklyn. All day, every day, and tomorrow. Let's get it. Yeah. Yo, waiver wire. Yo, you ready for waiver wire? Yeah. We coming with waiver wire. Nah, yeah. We coming with waiver wires. Yeah. You up on the waiver wire? Yeah. Come on. Brooklyn. Let's go. Let the bass drop. Waiver wire. Let the bass drop. Huh? Yeah. Let the bass drop. Come on. Let me know if y'all messing with the transitions. Here are the top 5 waiver wire targets you need to focus on for fantasy basketball. So, we're going to jump right in, man. Listen, I got one more thing. Yo, I had one of my guys, not even one of my guys, just somebody on a random comment was like, yo, bro, like I saw these same players from somebody else 2 weeks ago. You know what I thought to myself? It might have been me. Because, like, yo, some of these players get cycled in. So I get you. Like, the way our schedule works, sometimes the videos that we drop, because we record on Sunday night, maybe some of the other channels might have dropped on Friday or Saturday. And then you get our content on Sunday, and then you might get the shortened version on Tuesday or Wednesday. Guys, take what's relevant to you, use it, apply it, and win. I think far too often people just out here just complaining for no daggone reason. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. So the first waiver wire target I want to take a look at for week 8, oh baby, let's get it. Derrick Jones Jr. So Derrick Jones Jr. is available. Right now, he is just rostered in 3.2% of ESPN leagues. Huh? Well, where they do that at? Now, I know what you might be thinking. Hey, Robin, like Derrick Jones Jr., he ain't about that life. Like, all he could do is dunk, and like you seen him in the dunk contest, that's all he can do. My guy. Did you hear about Kyrie Irving? Kyrie Irving dodged a bullet where he's not going to be out for an extended period of time, but he's going to be out for a couple of weeks, maybe more, right? So I think it's a heel contusion. With that said, Derrick Jones Jr. is going to eat. So over the last 7 days, he has averaged 32 minutes per game. On the season, he's averaging 24.2 minutes per game. You see where I'm going with this? In the last 7 days, 32. For the season, 24. So he's already getting a spike within the last week. And the whole week doesn't include all of Kyrie's injury, right? So that's something that's worth noting. In terms of his point production, he's averaging 13 points per game in the last 7 days, 6 assists. My apologies. I meant 6 rebounds. 6 rebounds, 1 assist. And check this out. Come here. Come here for this one. 1.5 steals per game. Come on, man. I got more. Y'all want more? This is important. 2 blocks per game. I don't care if you're in a category league, a points league, a roto league, a hobo league, a logo league, a cocoa league. Can I repeat that? Come here. This is important. You don't want to miss this. He's averaging, over the last 7 days, 1.5 steals a game. He is averaging 2 blocks per game. That's wild, yo. That is like Busch Gardens wild. American Scream Machine wild. Don't play with me, man. Grab yourself some Derrick Jones. Next up, Eric Gordon. Yes, I said Eric Gordon out loud. I told you that the Phoenix Suns have a great schedule this week, right? So I think sometimes when it comes to the waiver wire, because some people become staples of the waiver wire, if you will, right? I stay on the waiver wire. Like I be out here on the waiver wire block. I'm sorry. I'm moving. I'm not going to do that joke. That's not a good joke. But I'm going to keep it a stack with you. I have had some Eric Gordon on my roster this season. Drop and go, plug and play. And listen, this is a big shout out to my man, Bill the Professor, one of my longtime league mates. Like, I have fierce battles with this guy every year. One thing he said to me a long time ago that stayed with me, and it's advice that I'll pass to you. Like, this is huge. He said, when it comes to the waiver wire, love them and leave them. He said, love him and leave him. So for Eric Gordon, he is rostered in just 20% of ESPN leagues. He's available in 80% of ESPN leagues. Over the last 7 days, he's averaged 36.5 minutes per game. But on a season, he's averaging 32 minutes a game. So that says to me that there may be some season-long value, especially when you think about deeper leagues. Over the last 7 days, he's averaging 13 points a game, 2 rebounds, 3.5 assists. This is important. Come in. 2 steals a game. You ready? Over the last 7 days, 1 block per game. Come on, man. It's worth an ad. He's worth an ad. So Eric Gordon, no relation to Aaron Gordon. Eric Gordon, that dude, man, he got a good week, man. Come on, man. I'm talking about the Valley. Next up, man, Caleb Martin from the Miami Heat. I had an opportunity in one of the games that I was covering for NBC Sports. Big shout out to the Roto World basketball team. My man Raphael Johnson. Booyaka shot. Let's get hype. Let's get hype in here. Yo, let me shout out my team. Man, I love my team. Man, I die for them people. Oh, man, I love my team. I would die for them people. Oh, I wouldn't literally die. Like, I got kids. I'm not trying to die. But I do love my team. Straight up. So let me shout out my team real quick, man. You ready for this, man? Let's get it. So first up, I want to give a big shout out to my man, Raphael Johnson. Want to give a big shout out to my brother, Noah Rubin. Last but not least, my ace in this place, my brother, Zach Henshaw. Oh, man. Anyway, back to Caleb Martin. So, Caleb Martin is just rostered in 5.9% of ESPN leagues. He is averaging currently over the last 7 days 32. He is averaging 32.5 minutes per game. Whew. This is important. 19.5 points per game. Man, oh baby. Man, he's cooking. You ready for this? He is averaging 9 rebounds per game over the last 7 days. 3.5 assists, 0 steals. That sucks. But he's putting it up in scoring and rebounds. And then 1.5 blocks. Yes. Listen, Caleb Martin, I'm saying, man, Like that's one thing. We got to be really mindful. And for me, I always talk about the eye test. Like watching a game and just seeing how a person moves without the ball, seeing their level of urgency, their body language. He is a dog, yo. And if you think about what he did, in the playoffs over the years, like he's really, really somebody in the short term, especially when we talk about streaming, is somebody that's been on my roster and will be on my roster in and out. Does he have long-term value? I think it depends on the health of Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, the stars of the Heat. But right now, they have a bunch of players, including Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez Jr. All of these players are Kyle Lowry. All of these players are getting a little bit of run here and there. I just think over the last week or two, Caleb has just been cooking with hot grease. And I'm not talking like peanut oil, olive oil, no avocado oil. Your man is cooking with grade A bacon grease. With the little, the little chips and the little ground up pieces of bacon, little chunks of flesh in the grease. That's your man. That's your man. I'm just saying. Oh my goodness. Next up, top 5, we got Dante Exum. And I think Dante Exum is really going to capitalize on the injury that we had to Kyrie Irving. So that's something to be really mindful of, is that in these windows of injury opportunities for bench players or, role players who are given an opportunity to shine, these are the kind of players you want to look out for. So just a tip to all, especially to my newcomers to fantasy basketball. When a key injury happens, what you want to do is take a look at that team's roster and try to project and think about who will be able to benefit from the unfortunate injury, right? So I'm sick. I got Kyrie on a couple of my teams. That irritates me that he's injured. But you grab Dante Exum, you might be able to get some short-term value. So Dante Exum on ESPN, which is wild, he's only rostered in 1.2% of leagues. Over the last 7 days, he's averaged 29.5 minutes per game. His actual season minutes per game numbers, 12.7. So that's important. He's averaging 29.5 over the last week, but he's averaging on the season only 12.7. And that has a lot to do, or everything to do, I should say, with the injury of Kyrie Irving. He has 14 points a game over the last 7 days, 6 rebounds. Check this out. Come here. This is important. This is huge. 7 dimes a game. Ooh. 1 steal a game, 0 blocks, and about a half a turnover. So he protects the ball too. And on the season, he's averaging 0.3 turnovers per game. So that's a really good sign for a point guard especially. So if Dante Exum is available on your waiver wire, I would just give it a whirl, give it a twirl, see what happens, and then we can go from there. But definitely just be mindful that it's a short-term ad. Might be for the week. It might be for a couple of weeks, depending on how well he performs. But if you are a Kyrie Irving manager, that's something you want to keep an eye on. Next up, Derek Lively, the second. And Derek Lively is someone we have talked about on this show. Just like I said earlier, sometimes we get some wild stuff in the comments. And honestly, for all of my content creators out there, if you are a sports content creator, let me know in the comments. If you create content for YouTube, social media, for fantasy basketball, fantasy football, for NBA, NFL, MLB, hockey, shoot, if you create content for anything, my bad, we're not going to just limit this to sports, but this is a general rule of thumb, right? Rule of thumb for content creators. When people drop hate comments on you, don't let it Don't let it hit home. Don't take it personal. When people drop hateful comments, don't let it take a toll on you. It's not that serious. The internet is undefeated, yo. Like, people are always going to come at you. With that said, here on this channel, we have spoken about Derek Lively before, and we will talk about him again, especially with Kyrie's injury, right? Excuse me. Especially with Kyrie's injury. We got to talk about him. Now, they play different positions, but when we talk about minutes, usage, that's for the whole team. And your man has been cooking. Here we go. So over the last 7 days, he's averaging 26 points a game, 10 points, 6.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists. Yuck. Check this out, though. You ready? And it's been a theme. With these waiver wire guys that I'm sharing with y'all, there's been a theme that they are killing it with defensive stats, right? Which is harder to get those, but also whether you're in category leagues or in points leagues, they're valued higher. In points leagues, man, you get like, depending on your league settings, you get 2-3 times more than what you would get for a point, right? He's averaging 1 steal a game as a big man. And that's why I love fantasy basketball, man. That's why I love fantasy basketball, man. That's why I love fantasy basketball. As a big, he averages 1 steal per game. And also he's averaging 2 blocks per game. Get yourself some Derek Lively, man. As always, you know I love to give some like bonus waiver wire guys. I'm calling it the lightning round. We're going to give you the lightning round. Okay. Orlando Robinson, Killian Hayes, Nick Richards, Sadiq Bey, Dorian Finney-Smith. This guy was actually going to be in my top 5. It's somebody I was looking at. Again, it's another Mavs player. Tim Hardaway Jr. is available all over the place. So take a look at him. He could have been in my top 5. And then last but not least, Cam Reddish coming off the in-season tournament championship. Oh, yeah. So let's do a little music, man. Let me get back in my bag, man. Let me get back in my bag with these music vibes. Let me see what we got here. Let me get my headphones on. Hold up. Oh, yeah. We're changing it up, y'all. We about to go to the next segment. Yeah. You ready? Woo! Believe in fantasy. Yeah. Believe in fantasy. You believe in me and I believe in you. But believe in fantasy. Don't believe in nothing if it ain't the truth. I'm saying, believe in fantasy. Woo! Believe in fantasy. Don't believe in nothing if nothing is being true. Don't believe in me. Don't believe in you. Believe in fantasy. Believe in fantasy. Believe in fantasy. Don't believe in me. Okay. Don't get. I might have to do the album. Might have to bust out the album out in these streets. Don't get me started. Okay, so this is a brand new segment. Let's get it. Here are the top 5 deep league waiver wire targets you need to focus on for fantasy basketball. Now, this is straight from the daggone comment section. And that's one thing about this channel that we try our best to do. And I know some of my colleagues, some of my contemporaries, my brothers also do this. And I'm just trying to soak it up and learn from the best out there, right? This is for fantasy football, for fantasy basketball. Big shout out my man Dan Titus. Oh my good, hold up. I'm not gonna shout out Dan Titus without dropping the horn. Let me drop the horn for my man. Big shout out my man Dan Titus. You can check out a recent episode we did about how he got into the professional space of creating content for fantasy sports. So he does fantasy football and fantasy basketball for Yahoo Sports. And he has been a super valuable resource to me in my journey. And I'm just super grateful for him. So again, like many of my brothers do out there, we try to listen to what the people are saying. And one thing that I got that really like stood out to me, I was like, oh, that's good, is getting more content for those 14-team leagues, 16-team leagues, 18-team leagues, 20-team leagues. We got 20-team leagues out there. On Sleeper, on lock-in mode, they doing 30-team leagues like it's nothing. We got people on Fantrax, 30-team leagues, nothing. This is more in the 14 to 16 range, but we're going to give you the top 5 deep league waiver wire targets. Let's get it. Okay, first up, and again, this is good. Troy Brown Jr. Over the last 7 days, Troy Brown Jr. has averaged 27.5 minutes per game. You hear me, Deep League fam? Come on now. I told you I got you. On the season, he's only averaging 15.5, right? That's a big jump. Averaging 14 points per game over the last 7, 2.5 rebounds, 3 assists, a half a steal, and a half a block. I'll let you see kind of what he's been doing over the last couple of games. Over the last couple games, 44 fantasy points according to these settings, 14, 18, 19, and 23. So the minutes is really what I'm looking at, and that's the big thing. We had an injury here. Anthony Edwards is down. He's going to be out for a little while. So Troy Brown Jr., although he's not a shooting guard, he still will be around in lineups at the 2 and maybe even at the 3. So he's someone we want to keep an eye on. Next up, for my deep league folks, Dante DiVincenzo. Dante is somebody I'm not too crazy about, and like for different reasons, right? But I would say if you're in a deeper league, he might be worth a look. He's just rostered in 3.7% of ESPN leagues. And honestly, I think I might even have some numbers for Yahoo on him. Do I have Yahoo stats on him? Oh, no, I have some Yahoo stats for one of my next waiver wire guys for deeper leagues. For Dante, he is just rostered in 3.7% of leagues, widely available. Over the last 7 days, averaging 19.5 minutes, 6.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, 2 assists, Man, he might not even belong on this list. But when you talk about deeper leagues, like, come on, man. You know that you got to kind of settle for the slim pickings, but I'm questioning this decision to put him on this list. Let me move along before I get roasted on that one. Moving right along, Amin Thompson. So Amin, not to be mistaken with Asar. Amin, not to be mistaken with Amen. Amin is coming off an injury, right? So he's been out for a minute. So this is an upside play. Now, I'll preface it by saying this. Ime Udoka is an amazing coach. But right now, his priority, it looks like he's trying to win right now. It doesn't appear to me as if Ime Udoka is making moves for his team in terms of rotations that would lead to the development of the young talent, the war chest of young talent that he possesses as the head coach of the upstart, bright future Houston Rockets, right? Doesn't seem like development is his top priority. It seems like he, just like in Boston, he's trying to win. He's trying to go to the finals. Like, I know he won't, but he definitely has a war chest of talent. With that said, if a man gets some run, it could be a good look for fantasy managers in deeper leagues. For people who are in standard 12-team leagues, I don't think he's someone you really need to look at unless you're way up and you feel like, you know what, let me roll my dice on this. But I do believe for deeper leagues, it's worth an ad just to see what happens. You can drop him if they don't give him the minutes. But if there's an injury or some way, somehow, Ime Udoka decides that Amin Thompson is a priority, then it could work out for you. Next up, top 5 deep league ads. Oh, baby. Sam Hauser. It was wild to me when I saw how many, how available this guy was, because he honestly is a pretty good fantasy player. He's only rostered in 2.3% of ESPN leagues, and for Yahoo leagues, he's only rostered in 15% of Yahoo leagues. So it's not an ESPN thing. He's also widely available on Yahoo, and he's streamable. So the Boston Celtics have an amazing schedule this week. I'm saying if your man is available, and this could work for 8, 10, 12 team leagues as well. Sam Hauser is someone you want to keep an eye on, but definitely in deeper leagues, he's somebody that, depending on what your roster construction is or what your roster build is, someone you might consider holding on for a while, for a couple of weeks. So the next person, oh my goodness, man, if you saw him in the daggone in-season tournament, man, he was like all over the place. TJ McConnell. Man, if he is not a deep league ad, I don't know what is. He is only rostered, and it's wild because for ESPN leagues, typically they are like available all over ESPN leagues and not available as much in a Yahoo league. But it's flipped for this player. It's flipped. He's only rostered in 25% of Yahoo leagues right now. What? Where they do that at? Come on, man. For ESPN, he's rostered in 25% of leagues, which is weird, right? So over the last 7 days, he has averaged 5.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, 3.5 steals. Check this out, 2 steals a game, no blocks. The big thing for me is that he's coming off of this in-season tournament performance, right? He had a really big game. He had on the second against Miami, he did 25 minutes, 20 points, 2 rebounds, 11 assists. I don't think he'll be able to replicate that type of production consistently. However, I think that he was a dog in that game against the Lakers in the championship. He was a dog. He had some key steals. Like, he was just really doing his numbers. So there's a possibility that maybe Rick Carlisle will say, you know what? Let me give this young man a shot. The Kirk Heinrich of his era. Let me give him a little bit of shine and give him 17 minutes a game. For a deep league, that might work for you. So that's what I got. Let me know in the comments for my folks who are in those 14, 16, 18, 20 team leagues. Let me know if that segment was valuable to you. And if you have other ideas of information and just concepts and ideas for deep leagues, let me know and I will do my best to accommodate you. Now, we're going to go back to the menu, because YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts is the venue. Okay, we switching up. You know I got to do some music. Let's go. Let's see what we got. Get my headphones on for this one. Did I play this one yet? I don't know. This is like smooth. It's like smooth. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the music. If you like the music, if you want me to keep doing that, I'm actually going to switch this one. I think we did this one already. Only want to give you guys new hits. This is it. It's my smooth joint. All right. So the next segment is one of my favorite segments for fantasy basketball. It's something that I just love discussing on the regular base. I like talking about it with my league mates. I like talking about it with my community. Man, it's something that brings me great joy. Let's go. Buy lows, baby. Woo! Buy lows, baby. Buy lows, baby. I got ya. Buy lows, baby. The buy low, buy low, buy low, buy low, buy low, buy low, buy low. Here are the top 5 buy lows that you need to pay attention to for fantasy basketball. So first up is somebody that's like honestly getting killed right now. Getting killed right now. Let me actually, I just want to repeat that joint for y'all because I have my graphics still up from the waiver wire segment. So for my people on the podcast, I'm about to repeat something. Don't mind me. I'm not gonna hold you. It is what it is. I just want to let you know for my people who are either watching the extended version of this episode or if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, I'm about to do a pull up. Let me get some of that. Pull up. Here are the top 5 buy lows you need to pay attention to for fantasy basketball. So the first guy I'm going to take a look at, like I said, has been really getting a lot of flack. Coming off of the in-season tournament, like, you know how it is in the news cycle. People need to, like, have something to report on, right? We need to have something to report on. And this brother has been getting reported on in all the wrong ways. It's been oogly, like not nice, like just borderline bullying. But let's talk about it. The first buy low candidate we're going to take a look at is Zion Williamson. Let me get over here. Zion Williamson. So Zion Williamson gained some weight apparently. And the internet is blazing him, you know. Like, I heard Stephen A. Smith's rant the other day, and Stephen A. Smith was going all the way off on Zion. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, so don't quote me. He said, "You look like you ate the whole buffet," which is mean, right? But then he was like, he said, "You look like you ate the table." I said, Lord, boy, that's not nice. That's not nice at all. So it made me question myself, right? So I'm going to be honest. Like, you can look at, and can I be transparent with y'all? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up for my live people real quick because I can see the thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if I can be honest with y'all right now. Give me a thumbs up if I can be honest with y'all right now. Because even with me, like, I've struggled with weight gain. I've lost weight, gained weight, right? So at the start of this podcast, if you go all the way back and look at my older videos, you'll see I was probably a little slimmer. Life happens. Like, things happen. I gained some weight. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little heavier, maybe a lot heavier than I was when the podcast started. You can attribute it to whatever you want to attribute it to, but it happens, right? I'm not a world-class athlete either. I'm not a guy who just got a huge contract for 5 years and came into training camp in really good shape and now is kind of backslid and fell back a little bit. But even for me, this motivates me. I'm saying like this, and if y'all know Zion Williamson, clip this up and send it to him. Zion, I'm about to get in the gym. Right now, I'm probably at like 230. I think like 232 or something like that. I'm going to get down to like 200 by the end of the season. Can I do that? Yeah, Zion. By the end of the season, I'm going to try to get down to 200. I'm not going to try. I'm just going to get down to 200. So for my Believe in Fantasy Basketball community, this is for you too. Hold me accountable because that's what I think you need to do, Zion. I think you need to find people around you to keep you accountable so that way you don't squander your blessings, bro. Come on, man. So, like, I'm not about to be body shaming people. Like, people are wild on the internet talking crap about Zion. Like, they saying all kinds of mean stuff. I'm not there. I'm saying because you have a gift that God gave you, brother. You have a talent and a gift. I know we got a lot of people in the Believe Network community that might have ties with the Pels. Share this with Zion. We just want to see you shine because you shining brings light to all the people who watch you as well. That's all I have to say. I'm done with it. I'm not going to get too spiritual. But Zion is a buy low. Zion is a buy low. And if you wanted to move him, this is Points League's ranking on #basketball. He is currently at 41. Tyler Hero is 42. Jimmy Butler is 43. Fred VanVleet is 44. Miles Bridges is 45. If I had Miles Bridges, I would offer Miles Bridges for Zion Williamson. Brandon Ingram, Evan Mobley, 39 and 40. Evan Mobley's 39, Brandon Ingram's 40. Rudy Gobert, DeMar DeRozan. I would offer DeMar DeRozan for Zion Williamson. Why? Because I have faith. Just like I'm about to lose this weight, you're going to lose this weight too. And the thing is, too, even if he don't lose the weight, he's still like super, super valuable for fantasy. He's a walking double-double. And at his height, he's averaging 26 and 10. Come on, man. So I would buy low on him. Some other players, just to kind of give you some more context, Anthony Simons, Kyle Kuzma, all of these guys, I would trade for Zion Williamson in points leagues. Next up, oh, man, and this is somebody like I don't even want to be really saying this, but I got to. But the next buy low, man, oh, man. Oof. Ant-Man. And Ant-Man is down here. Where is my man Ant-Man? I would go with Ant-Man. Anthony. Where is he? My apologies. Okay, Anthony Edwards is 28 right now. He's at 28. So Anthony Edwards currently ranked 28 on #basketball. Listen, this is called the injury buy low. For my new players of fantasy basketball, when somebody goes down, fantasy managers be out here panicking, yo. They be out here in these fantasy basketball streets like, oh my God, I don't believe it. Anthony Edwards went down. I curse his name. Like, come on, man. It's not that serious. Oh, you mad? Send him my way. I'll put him in my IR for a couple of weeks. See if you can buy low on Anthony Edwards. The next buy low, oh my God. This is a little sad. This is a little sad for me. This is somebody that I was super high on, but not having the best season so far. He's currently outside of the top 100, so I got to scroll to find him. But at 109 currently for points leagues on #basketball, he's ranked 109, OG Anunoby. And I love OG Anunoby. And honestly, man, this year he's stinking up the joint. But I think he'll be better. I think he will be better than this. Right now, he's averaging 14.8 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, 2.5 assists. It's ugly, yo. He's supposed to be doing way better than that. And I think he will do better. Now, let's be clear. When we talk about OG Anunoby and buying low on him, I'm not telling you to go and try to move, let's see people in his range right now. So we got let's talk about Devin Vassell is over there. He's a little over there. I don't know if I move Devin Vassell for OG Anunoby. But I moved Jordan Clarkson for OG Anunoby. I don't know if I've moved Walker Kessler. I definitely moved Draymond Green. So just take a look at your roster, see what you have. And if you have questions and you're not sure, all you have to do is drop a question, or drop your question, I should say, in our Discord. To join, all you have to do is hit up BelieveInFantasy.com. Speaking of Devin Vassell, he is my next buy low. Currently outside of the top 100 on #basketball. He is at 102. So for Devin Vassell, another player that I think they're doing so much experimentation in San Antonio. Wild. wild, the amount of experimentation. Jeremy Sohan, a power forward. Let's start him at point guard. Oh, like Zach Collins, you've been doing great. Let's bench him and let Wemby start at center. You got to be ready for the unexpected if you're rostering any of these San Antonio Spurs players. Even Devin Vassell, he came off of an injury, y'all. They had him come off the bench for like 5 or 6 games before he moved back into the starting lineup. So he's back in the starting lineup. So him being at 102, that could go up. Again, just like with OG Anunoby, I'm not trying to trade away my top players. I would go to the bottom of my roster, look and see what I have around there in that, your bottom 3 players, and see if you can work out a package to give Vassell. So I'm not trying to like break the bank to bring him back to my squad. And then the last person is somebody that I was crazy about, somebody that I think honestly is a player that, man, I think the thing about him is that he's in a system that really doesn't highlight all of his potential. And that player is Cade Cunningham. And man, it breaks my heart that I'm even putting him in this category here. But currently on this season, he's ranked 53. He's ranked 53 on the season. And he's the kind of player that, people are still like, Cade is kind of trash, especially like in category leagues, because he has super, super bad field goal percentage. He's not doing well from the field. So if you are in a league where people are kind of like, hey, like, I don't know about Cade, this could be your opportunity. However, it's worth noting that he has been performing better over the last couple of games, so it might not be the time to buy low. You might want to wait to see how he does, but he's been super streaky. And honestly, Monty Williams, I love Monty Williams, but what's happening in Detroit is like suffering succotash bad, yo. It's like, man, it's they farting all over them, yo. Like, they getting blown out, they losing, they have like one of the longest losing streaks in history. I think they're on the verge of breaking the NBA record. I think they already broke the Detroit record. So that's what you can play. Again, he has strung together a couple of good games. So to buy low on him could be like something we're looking at throughout this week. It's not something I would leap on right now, but imagine that Cade Cunningham is going to have a couple of bad games over the next couple of weeks, and that's when you want to make that offer. So we did our buy lows. So just in the spirit of things, just in the spirit of, the way we doing business today, let's go ahead and drop our theme song, man. This one is actually our intro. Let's drop that. Let me get the beat on that. Oh, whoa. This is our intro music. Our next segment. We already did the buy lows. So you know what we got to do? Sell high. Sell high. Come on. Sell high. Sell high. Sell high. Oh, yeah. Here are the top 5 sell highs you need to pay attention to for fantasy basketball. All right. So let's get back to these rankings, and we're going to take a look at who we going to sell high on. The first player that I want to talk about, honestly, he has been cooking this season. With bacon grease, right? Really, really good production. For points leagues, man, listen. For points leagues, he is currently number 12. He is the in-season tournament MVP and an in-season tournament champion. First ever, LeBron James. Now, As you can see here, LeBron is ranked number 12 in points leagues as of today at the time of recording this episode. And he's coming off that in-season tournament. People are talking about this anomaly of a human. We've never seen anything like this. And I'm a Jordan guy, y'all. Like, I believe Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But as we keep going through this season, and the next season, and the next season, I might have to change my criteria. So I have an episode about the top 10, players of all time. And LeBron is not number one. But what I would say is that, man, this longevity piece, we have never seen anything like this. A guy 38 years old that can do this, it is literally blowing my freaking mind. I'm like, he's so good. AD had a good game too, but in terms of LeBron James coming off this in-season tournament, there's a lot of buzz around him. You could pull up these numbers. Hey, if you're in a points league, hey, he's ranked number 12 in points leagues. Let's try to make a deal. In category leagues, I believe he's current in 9-cat leagues. I should say he's currently at about 20. I believe he's like 2019. Whew, man. So players like if I could offer a deal, if I could sell high on LeBron, I'd give you my LeBron for your Donovan Mitchell. Yes, I would. I would give you my LeBron James for your Kevin Durant. Yes, I would. I would give you my LeBron James and another player for your Tyrese Halliburton. Yes, I would. I would give you LeBron James and another player for your SGA, your Luka, your Jokic, your Embiid, maybe even your Giannis in a points league. Yes, I freaking would. And you should too. Just saying. Let's move along. Number 2. Who we got next? Oh my goodness. This is my man. This is my man. And I had a chance to actually really take a look at a couple of his games because with my NBC Sports team, we divvy up, who's going to cover what game. And this guy is somebody that I've had the pleasure of watching a bunch of his games over the last couple weeks. And he is a sell high if I ever saw a sell high. He is coming off of his career high in points. I think he dropped like 42. Paolo Banchero. Paolo Banchero is number 48 in points league ranking, right? He is number 48. But check this out. He's number 48 on the season. But over the last week, he is number 19. Let that sink in. So the number 48 player in points leagues has been performing on a top 20 level over the last week. This is your opportunity. He had his career high in points. Like, hey, listen, this is a sell high if I ever saw a sell high. The next sell high we got, let me get him centered here. My main man. And actually, let me stop. That's not my main man. That's your main man. That's your man. That's not my man. I like him, but he's not somebody I really check for. Number 38 in points leagues, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is my next sell high. Rudy Gobert has been top 10 in 9-cat leagues over the last week. Right? Per hashtag basketball. For points leagues, he's right now at 38. Sell high, man. Sell high. Some of these guys I would trade Rudy for. I would trade Rudy for Mobley in a minute, for Ingram in a minute. I don't know if I would trade him for Zion. I would trade him for DeMar in a minute. For Holmgren, I would give you another player. I would send you Rudy and another player for Holmgren. Do you see these guys that are in this area with him? Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns, I would trade all of them. Let's go under and see who's below him in points leagues. Jimmy Butler, I wouldn't do Jimmy Butler just because of the resting, the coffee, the haircuts. I'm just joking. I love me some Jimmy Butler, but I wouldn't trade Rudy Gobert. I'm kind of out on Jimmy Butler for fantasy, but I like him as a real player. But Fred VanVleet, I make that deal all day, every day, and tomorrow. Do it now. So there's value there with Rudy Gobert. Okay, our next sell high that we want to talk about a little bit is Trae Young. Oh, man. And Trae Young, you see I got the Hawks hat. I love Trae Young. And, you know, we're based in the Atlanta area, and I don't have any allegiance to any teams right now. I'm not about to get my heart broken by some NBA teams. But I would say about Trae Young is that he's been top 10 in points leagues over the last 2 weeks. And as you can see here, his season-long rankings, let me just check my numbers here. Yeah, this is season-long. His season-long stats, he is currently number 11. I would trade you my Trae Young for your De'Aaron Fox. I would trade you my Trae Young for your Devin Booker. I would trade you my Trae Young for Kevin Durant. I would trade you my Trae Young and another player for Tyrese Halliburton. I would sell high on Trae Young while he's doing this. And the last player we're going to look at for our sell highs, let me see where he's listed here for points leagues, because he might be a little lower on the points league list here. Yeah, there he goes. He is ranked currently for points leagues 73. Derek White is my next sell high. He's been in the top 10 for 9-cat leagues over the last couple of weeks. And I just want to quickly see what I can get for him here with his, that's our last guy that we're going to look at. Let's take a look at what he's been doing in points leagues over the last couple of weeks. Let's see if there was an increase there, because a lot of times, depending on the player, the value that you see in a category league can be very different than what's happened in points leagues. What happens in points leagues, I should say. But there's still value there for people who perform well in the different league types. So, yeah, I can't search his name here. I just got to kind of scroll and look. So we're just going to – oh, no, he's doing well. Man. So he's ranked currently over the last that's good. So over the last week in points leagues, he's ranked 31, right? So if you have him on your league, just like I said, for 9-cat leagues, sometimes the value is not – it doesn't mirror what's happening in points leagues. But for some players, it does. So he has been really good in category leagues. But as you can see, he also had a jump here in points leagues. So I would sell high on Derek White. Like, I would do it and do it this week if you can. But again, when we say sell high, we're not saying like, hey, you have to sell him because he's going to stink up the joint later. It's like, no, if you can get value on your return, if you make a move for him, that's what we're talking about. So that is what I would recommend going into week 8. I would move Derek White. I would sell high. Let's go ahead and jump into our next segment. Man, we are flowing tonight, man. And if you are here for the live stream, please make sure you stick around, because we're going to do our best to answer as many of your questions as possible. We're going to answer as many of your questions as possible. Do another little transition here. Oh, man, you know what we got to do. We got to go to the Discord, man. Little Q&A action. Yeah. You already know. Discord Q&A. Discord Q&A. Let's go. Discord Q&A. Yeah. I'm going to answer your questions. Join the Discord, brethren. Believe in fantasy.com. Oh, yeah. Okay. My son went to the kitchen and he looked in here like, that's new. I'm just testing it out, yo. Just testing it out, son. Don't judge me. Don't judge your dad. All right. So the next segment is our Believe in Fantasy mailbag. This is really cool because the Discord members from our community are asking their questions, and chances are you have the same questions. So let's go ahead and just jump into it and take a look to see what we got here. So let's pull this up. All right, so let's look at our first question here. Those looks like some answers. Let's scroll on up and see what we got. All right, last call. Let's start at the top here. Start at the top here. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. All right, cool. So waiver wire pickups of the week. I just went through all of that. You can go back and watch that. What to do with Scotty Barnes. This one is from my man Tofu, spelled Toefue, Tofu. That's funny. Oh, man, I really, really like that one. So what do you do with Scotty Barnes? I hold Scotty Barnes. I'm not trying to do anything with Scotty Barnes. Like, yes, I think last week I covered a couple of his games. He had a couple of, like, okay games. His okay games are still better than some fantasy players, right? And he's been performing at an elite level, so he's not a player that I would sell low on. If you want to move Scotty Barnes, it's okay, but wait until you can sell high on him. Don't try to trade Scotty Barnes when he's having some kind of a slump. So I would stay away from that. The answer simply is to hold Scotty Barnes. Next question is from Zach Y. Zach Y says, should I pick up Jordan Poole from the waiver? I'm about to be 6-1 in my 10-man league. Congratulations, my brother. And I'm basically guaranteed to make the playoffs. Should I try to hold on to Poole and see if he can improve? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Depends on who your worst player is, but I imagine if Jordan Poole is on your waiver wire, you guys have a very rich waiver wire pool. One thing that is worth noting, if you're in a smaller, shallow league, like an 8-team league, a 10-team league, it's always worth adding an extra roster spot or two. So that way you can kind of make the waiver wire less, deep. Like, you don't have as much talent. Sometimes it's hard to, like, manage your team when there's so many, interesting options on your waiver wire, right? So for all of my managers going into next season, if you have a 8-man or 10-man league, even 6-man league, if you do that, then you want to expand your rosters to make sure that the waiver wire is not so full of talent. So, yeah, I would definitely pick him up. Next question is from Zoomin. Zoomin says, what do I do with Asar Thompson? Trade, drop, or keep? His minutes are dropping, and he has to compete with Bojan. Man, and this sucks because I'm a big-time Thompson Twin fan. Like, my son put me onto them from OTE, Overtime Elite. I watched a bunch of their games in OTE before they got drafted, right? Big shout-out to City Reapers. But I would drop Asar Thompson. Absolutely. Especially in a redraft league, and if you're in a 12-team redraft league, like, there's somebody that's going to provide you more value than you sitting around and waiting for him. However, if you do drop him, it's kind of like that girlfriend that you broke up with or broke up with you, and you still go to her Instagram to see what she's doing, or go to her Facebook, depending on how old you are, right? Scrolling her TikTok to see what she's doing, who she's with, what's happening. Giving her some internet stalker vibes so you can know what's happening with Asar Thompson. Because if he goes off for a big game or Monty Williams decides that he's going to reinvest in a young man, you want to be one of the people there so you can snatch him up off of the waiver wire. So, yes, I would drop, but I would also pay attention. Next up, this is from Arcaz. Arcaz says, are Curry and Anthony Edwards buy lows for this week since they are only averaging low 40s? Well, I don't know about Curry, but I definitely know Anthony Edwards is because he's banged up. So I would definitely try to see if you can buy low on Ant-Man. This one is from CJ La Luna 12. What to do with Poole in a 12 in a 12 category league? Whoa, man, 12 cat league? I don't know, man. I would say hold, maybe. I would say maybe hold. Yeah. For Goof says projection of Ja. Did he call him Ja Warrant? Yo, I know you didn't call your man Ja Warrant. How you call him Ja? How you call him Ja Warrant? How you call your man Ja Warrant? He called him Ja Warrant. That's good. Oh man, yeah. So projections for Ja. Ja is not coming off of an injury, right? So Ja Morant is not like banged up. He got suspended because he was on Facebook Live flashing the blicky. With that being said, you fire him up when he comes. If you got him on your squad, I think he's going to produce well in points leagues. I think he's going to be what he is for category leagues. We'll take a few more questions. Let's do this one here. Do I trade? This one is from Arcaz. I think, did I do an Arcaz question? I did an Arcaz question. We're going to do another one, Arcaz, because I want to make sure we get as many people in as possible. This one is good. This one is from Must Be Mag. Must Be Mag says, is LeBron officially the daddy of the NBA with his new in-season tournament MVP? I want to answer this one. I know it's not a fantasy-related one. But the daddy of the NBA, I think he's the daddy of the NBA because he's the oldest player in the NBA. Not because he won the in-season tournament MVP. He's the daddy of the NBA because he could probably be half the player's dad. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. No disrespect. I'm not going to hold you. I love the king, but that's the only way he would be the daddy of the NBA is because he is literally old enough to be your freaking dad. Oh, man. So, back to the menu. We're going to go into our next segment. I'm going to do music just to keep it going, but I'm going to be quick with it. And I'm not going to do any rapping on all of that stuff because my son is in the other room groaning and grunting. So I'm going to just kind of take it light on this one. Okay. So next up is our Reddit thread of the week. And I know we've had some questions about Ja Morant. We've had some questions about Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. in our Discord. So when I saw this Reddit thread, I thought it was really timely because Ja Morant is about to come back from injury. Like he's literally a few games away from being active. When you're watching this video, he might already be playing, right? So a lot of people are thinking about what do I do with Desmond Bane now that Ja Morant is coming back. So this Reddit thread started by my man Alkek Paris, ALQPRIRH. He says, Desmond Bane when Ja returns. And then he unpacks it a little bit, and I'll show you what he says. He says, how are we thinking Desmond Bane will fare when Morant comes back in a few weeks, a.k.a. Ja Warrant? I don't believe he said that, yo. How are we thinking Desmond Bane will fare when Morant comes back in a few weeks? He's been doing great thus far as the Grizzlies' main offensive scorer. Will he continue performing well once Ja comes back and spaces out the floor, perhaps getting more open looks as defenses target Ja? Or will Ja coming back take a hit on Bane's scoring and production? This is my first year doing fantasy. How was Bane last year with Ja in points, cat leagues? Should I be looking to sell high or hold rest of season? I love this one. I love this one. I love this one. And before I actually respond to this one, we're gonna take a look to see what some of the other Redditors said about this question. So the first person is Boner Gaines. Ayo. Boner Gaines in a 12-team 10-cat league. He says he is still going to be there. He's still going to be their second main scoring option. I think he honestly stays close to his current point per game, but actually sees an uptick on field goal percentage. He has been their primary ball handler and shot creator so far, and that's causing his efficiency to drop a little. I think once Ja comes back and takes that pressure off him, you'll see him hit more of his shots. I love that take. That's a really good take. Next up, this is from J Yeet BVG. He says, he'll get better with Ja when Ja returns. He'll get better when Ja returns. Short, sweet. Love it. This one is Fred like Freddy. He says, I think he falls back a little bit, but he's still going to make you happy. He's still going to make you happy? What in the heck? He's a baller. Next up, this one is from Westworld Gatorade. I love that name, man. I love that name. I love that name. This one is from Westworld Gatorade. He says, points go down, efficiency goes up. Secondary stats may increase a bit since he's not expending as much energy on scoring. That is a very insightful take. So, let me give you my take. So, Desmond Bane has been absolutely cooking with hot grease. Like, he has been Walla Banini. Like, Walla Banini good. Like, really putting up crazy numbers. I think he dropped his career high recently, like 49 points. Come on, man. Like, he is a valuable fantasy basketball option. Points leagues, category leagues, roto leagues, sleeper lock-in mode leagues, sleeper game pick leagues. I see you, right? So, if you have him on your roster, to answer the question, should you hold? Should you sell high? Listen, I'm holding Desmond Bane. I would hold Desmond Bane. And here's why. Where you drafted him, you are not getting the performance that you paid for. You're getting a whole lot more. There's a huge return on the investment that you made where you drafted him. Right? So, when Ja comes back, will he take a hit? Probably. Depending on your format, it might be more or less. Right? But he's going to take a hit. Just statistically, off of the numbers, he's going to take a hit. A guy who averages 25, 26, 27 points a game is coming back to the team. But that doesn't mean he's going to be bum juice. He's not going to stink of hot dog water. He's not going to be that bad. So I wouldn't go trying to trade. Oh, let me get rid of him quick. I would hold. Now, there is an exception. If I could get a first-round player, whether Ja Morant was coming back or not, I would move Desmond Bane. I would include Desmond Bane in a trade to get SGA, to get Tyrese Halliburton, to get the Joker, to get Embiid. That I would do. I would let him be the centerpiece of the trade, and then I'll bring like a top 70, top 80 guy and throw him in the deal and see if I could make that work. But overall, Desmond Bane, in most settings, I would just hold and see what happens, because the thing that people are not talking about with Ja Morant, a.k.a. Ja Morant, like, oh my God, I don't believe I said that. Ja Morant, sorry, is that he might make another mistake. My son is in the back listening to this, and I talk to him about this all the time because he's a basketball player. And this is for all of the young players out there, right? If you play fantasy, you might play basketball, and you might believe and think and dream that one day you'll play in the NBA. Don't be your own enemy. Don't squander your blessings. Ja Morant has already, this is not even the first time, y'all. He's done this on multiple occasions, and I want the young brother to win. And I'm praying for Ja Morant to make the right decision. But the fact of the matter is, all we have to go on is history. And history proves that in a little bit of time, Ja Morant is going to make a mistake that involves an iPhone camera or some form of a smartphone camera, a blicky, a friend that doesn't give a crap about his life, and then we'll have a suspension. So I pray and hope that doesn't happen. Knock on wood. I would never wish that on anyone, and I hope. But I'm saying as a fantasy manager, I'm not about to go trade away Desmond Bane because I think Ja Morant is going to be coming back. He might come back, but he might not stay. He might not stay. So, now that you are prepared to dominate week 8 of the NBA season, make sure you check out our next episode about executing fantasy basketball trades. This episode was presented to you by BetOnline, where the game starts. So now I want to quickly go into some of these questions that we had here. I know we had people waiting. Can I see that? Man, we got 55. So we're going to work backwards just because I know the people that just dropped them might still be sticking around. We still got a bunch of people here. So let's go ahead and jump in. So the first one is from Johnny P. Johnny P says he needs me to read more Discord questions. I'm not going to do any more Discord questions, my guy, because I'm already 90 minutes in. But if you have a question, drop it here, Johnny P. I will gladly answer it for you. Drop your question right here, Johnny P., and I will answer it for you. Let's see what we got. Looks like folks are talking to themselves. This is good. Talking to each other, I should say. This is good. Had a rough start internally. Okay, let's answer. I'll answer this one from you, Johnny P. Johnny P says, shoot, let me turn this off so I can see this better. Give me a second here. Let's turn this off here. Cool. Okay, Johnny P says, would you trade Porzingis and Dinwiddie for Sabonis? Points league 10-man. Yes, I would absolutely do that, Johnny P. I would trade Porzingis and Dinwiddie for Sabonis in a heartbeat in points leagues. And why? A, Dinwiddie has not been that guy this year. And then Porzingis, always an injury risk. When he's healthy, he's on. He does his thing. Sabonis is an Iron Man. Consistent, gonna put up numbers. That's what I'm looking for in fantasy. So, yeah, I would definitely make that deal. All my man Highlight Factory's in the building. You know we got to do that. What up, my dude? You already know. Highlight Factory says, what's up? Do you think Tillman gets back to form with Ja back? Same with Triple J. I don't know. I can't call it with Tillman, man. Like, I'm not going to hold you. I don't know what to make of it. He's back from injury. They're not giving him the minutes that we would expect. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't bank on it. He definitely seems like an expendable asset in fantasy. I do think that Triple J will get back to form. And the big reason is I think he's going to get I think the roster and the rotation will be stabilized with Ja Morant returning. So that is the big news when it comes to, Ja Morant's impact on the team. Let's go ahead and go through. We got a couple questions coming in. Let's go with this one. This is from Blah. He says, would you trade Curry and Wemby for AD? No. I would not do that. I would not do that. I wouldn't do that in any format. I wouldn't do that 9-cat, 8-cat, 20-cat, 30-cat, 40-cat, 50-cat. No. Why? Because I think AD is always an injury risk, and I think Curry and Wemby, their combined value outweighs his. So I wouldn't do that. I'm going to answer another Johnny P because he was so patient. Johnny P says, Westbrook is on waivers. Do I add? I would add. This one is from Archez. He says, should I trade Tatum and BI for Halliburton, or should I have him add someone else averaging low 30s? I think that's too much for Halliburton. I'm okay with trading Tatum for Halliburton, but not with BI. I would do like a top 80 guy, maybe top 90 guy. Like I'm not trading my BI and Tatum for Halliburton. I wouldn't get too gassed on that. I wouldn't do that. Let me see if I can go back a little bit and get some of these. Let me get the next question here. Just reading a lot of people's quotes here, and they're not necessarily questions. Here we go. Is Seth Curry worth a pickup? Heck to the no. I am out on Seth Curry. Nothing to do with that. Nothing. I don't care if I was in a 40-team league. I would stay. No, I'm joking. Maybe in deeper leagues he has some value, but no, I'm not really doing that. Let's see what we got. Man, that's a good one. What's the question though? Nope, just sharing his roster. Should I sell high and go bare? Yes, we answered that one. Answer that one. Zion. Oh, that's messed up. Come on, Jeff. I gotta share, Jeff. That's not right, Jeff on Sacks. He said Zion the Hut Williamson. Come on, man. That's not okay, man. We can't do that, man. Oh no, that's not good. Oh man, I don't do that. Oh, somebody asked for a team rating? Let me see that. Let me do that. Oh, Johnny P, you out here. He asked for a team rating in the Discord. Johnny P, you like really building bridges out here. Let's go to Dino. Dino says, help me out with Poole. I don't know what to do. Any light at the end of the tunnel? Any chance the Wizards have a shakeup with the team? Possible trades? Anything? It ain't pretty, my guy. Jordan is leaving the kids at the pool. He's stinking up the joint. Dumpster juice. Stay away. Yeah, and if you got him, you got to hold and just wait it out. It's not pretty, though. It's not pretty. Dina says you do know Kyrie is out. Yes, we talked about that today as well. We did. Thank you for helping there. Oh, this is a good one. This was from Archez. He says, what website do you use to find player rankings? There's a couple of options that you can use. My go-to for points leagues is #basketball.com. For Dynasty is #basketball.com. For category leagues is typically basketballmonster.com. That's a great question. Keaton Chan says, should I keep Duren? It depends on your situation. He's out. If you got an IR, I would stick him in an IR, but yeah, doesn't look good right now. I don't know what you're asking there, Archez. You said, do you do team ratings if I put it in Discord? You're asking if you – oh, you mean like rating your team? I do rate teams on TikTok. I just have limited time to do so many. If you want to make sure yours is prioritized, there's an option to do that in the Discord as well. So you can just click there. Let's check out this trade question. This is from Muhammad Ramadan. He says, should I trade Bam, Jimmy, and Aaron Gordon for Maxey, Vucevic, and Jeremy Grant, please. My Bam, my Jimmy, my Aaron Gordon for Maxey, Vucevic, and Grant, please. I think that's close. Man, I honestly, I probably would. I probably would just because Maxey's in the deal, and I think he's the best player in all of this. So it's close, but I would probably take Maxey there. I would definitely take Maxey there. Okay, so one of the longest shows of the season. Don't forget, make sure you drop a comment and let us know what you think about the new things we added to the show, including our little ticker down here, the graphics that we had a little earlier on. Just let us know what you think about all of the changes that we made to the broadcast. I'm really curious to see what you guys think. And don't forget, play the waivers, set your lineups, and believe in fantasy. Peace.